Hey you. So, here we are again. Told you we'd get to this soon. If you've been on the internet at all in the past week and a half, you've no doubt seen video after video and tweet after tweet discussing comments made by star of Captain America Brave New World, Anthony Mackie, and what the character of Captain America means to him. If you've been on that same internet, you also know that a lot of people didn't like it.
This Captain America movie without Captain America has the person who's pretending to be Captain America say that Captain America doesn't mean anything about America. It shouldn't mean anything about America itself. Go fuck yourself.
He goes, but anyway, you're a black guy, I'm a white guy, so now it's your turn. You're going to be DEI Captain America. Here you go. Because, I don't know, my skin's not dark enough. Yours is. Here you go. You're Captain America now. And what is the first thing Marvel does when they make the black guy Captain America? They say it's not about America anymore.
To say that Captain America is not to represent America, that is an egregious statement to make. It is false and it makes no sense.
He's anti-American, they say. He hates America and he's alienating the American audience, they also say. But America's in the name, they say. An insight so profound it must in fact be screamed to the heavens atop every rooftop for even the gods to hear. They have said a lot of stuff about this. I can say a lot in response, honestly. But between you, me, and the screen, I'm not going to. Because we all know what this is really about, and dancing around it and actively engaging with this discourse as if it's honest is ridiculous.
You may be Captain America, but you're not Steve Rogers. You're right. I'm not.
So what did Anthony Mackie say? Well, when asked about what the character of Captain America means to him, he responded by saying, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term America should be one of those representations. About a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity. When I was in college, I had written an essay for my media criticism class all about Captain America. I had tracked his story through the different movies at the time, and did so to highlight how he represented the United States at different stages in its life cycle as a world power, from World War II all the way up into modern day. It wasn't anything fancy. It was about 7 pages long and really nothing to write home about. I think I maybe got like a B or something on it. I bring this up to say it's entirely within my skill set as a nerd with an interest, some would say a hyper interest, in comic books and superhero films to do something similar to that to respond to the weird things people have said about what Anthony Mackie responded with. I could talk about how, since the character's initial creation in the 40s as much needed propaganda during World War II, the character has grown and become much more than said propaganda. I could mention that as the country continued to change, so has he, coming to represent more than just the single-minded American ideal of pure unfettered patriotism. How Captain America isn't Homelander or John Walker or Nuke or any other characters within the Marvel Universe or without who are extremely jingoistic in their patriotism. I could, as I did years ago, go through each of his appearances in the MCU and talk about how in each one of those appearances he's shown himself to be someone capable of not only questioning his government.
If we sign this, we surrender our right to choose. What if this panel sends us somewhere we don't think we should go? What if there's somewhere we need to go and they don't let us?
But actively going against it, and even forswearing the very country in his name, America. I can say how he did the very same thing in the comics as well, becoming nomad because it's entirely possible for him to separate the good he can do as a hero with the country that is in his name. I could do all of that, but I won't. I won't because I don't have to. Because the people who are saying what they're saying about Anthony Mackie know all of this, or at the very least, claim to know all of this. Despite their various protestations and finger-wagging, they know that what Anthony Mackie said was actually the most Captain America thing that he could have possibly said, and also super based. Especially because the actor who played Captain America before him, the Captain America that people like Nerdrotic and others think Brave New World should be about, said the exact same thing decades prior. In 2011, around the time of Captain America: The First Avenger, Chris Evans was asked in an interview with Comic Book Resources what it was like to be draped in the American flag. His response was, "Well, to me, I'm not trying to get too lost in the American side of it. This isn't a flag-waving movie. It is red, white, and blue, but it just so happens that the character was created in America during wartime, when there was a common enemy. Even though it is Captain America, I've said before in interviews, it feels like he should be just called Captain Good. You know, he was created at a time when there was this undeniable evil, and this guy was kind of created to fight that evil. I think that everyone could agree that Nazis were bad, and he, Cap, just so happens to wear the red, white, and the blue. So, class, can anyone tell me what the major difference is between what Chris Evans said in 2011 and what Anthony Mackie said in 2025? I'll give you a second. If you answered anything other than the color of their skin, you're wrong. Well, that's not totally fair. There are a couple of reasons why people would claim there's a difference for sure. It's just that most of them would be made to support the racist idea that Sam Wilson isn't fit to be Captain America. A narrative that, as I talked about in my last video, is there partially to ride the hate train of engagement all the way to the bank, but mostly, yeah, it's racism. I know I should probably have a more sophisticated sort of answer for this. I should posit a more meaningful explanation, but nah. It really is that simple. It's not a coincidence that the same people pushing this idea about Anthony Mackie hating America because of what he said are also the same people who, whether subtly or not, suggest that he shouldn't have been made Captain America in the first place.
A lot of people liked him as Falcon. A lot of people liked that character. A lot of people do not want to see him as Captain America.
Why? I don't know, pick something out of a hat. DEI, agendas, wokeness, he's some random black guy. All of these are just synonyms for racism. For some reason, a black man as Captain America is something that the world isn't ready for or doesn't want, which ironically was a central theme to the very show that these same people in real life acting this way towards Mackie now ignored and looked past.
Every time I pick this thing up, I know there are millions of people out there who are going to hate me for it. Even now, here. I feel it. The stares, the judgment. And there's nothing I can do to change it.
After all, life does imitate art. So I know I'm kind of breaking my own rule here. I said I wasn't going to go into it, that I didn't need to. I had that whole thing, but I'm going to. I'm going to go into it because I need to, only for a little bit. It's fine. Relax. For the sake of sake, and just so that we aren't getting anything twisted, there was absolutely nothing wrong with what Anthony Mackie said. Captain America can, in fact, represent many things to many people. America doesn't have to be one of them. As I said before, and as any fan of the character will tell you, it is entirely possible for Captain America to stand above and even in opposition to the country he represents. He's able to do that because he is not his country, or not solely his country. Mackie's statements, at least in some small part, make a conscious effort to acknowledge this. Ideas like integrity and honor are things that just don't represent the country, but do represent the man. Captain America is someone who hates bullies, always has, and who's fought for what's right, even at the cost of his own life and his freedom.
I know I'm asking a lot. The price of freedom is high. It always has been. And it's a price I'm willing to pay. And if I'm the only one, then so be it. But I'm willing to bet I'm not.
So it boggles my mind when I hear people say things about Captain America in order to hate on what Mackie said by going, rah, rah, America, you know, America's Cap and Cap is America, fuck yeah. Many of these people just take Mackie's words and throw it back at him, claiming that the traits he listed for being Captain America are traits that are just inherent to America as a country.
To sit there as the man representing Captain America right now, a fundamentally American idea of justice and honor and doing what is right, and to say that that character cannot stand for this, it just goes to show you that all you're doing is misunderstanding the character.
Which they're not, or at the very least, not to the extent that some would make it seem. I mean, for God's sakes, this man blew up 3 helicarriers over Washington, D.C. and crippled the country's main intelligence agency because Nazis infiltrated the government and were going to kill a bunch of people. This is a man who is willing to disobey the will of the United Nations, forswear his shield in order to save his best friend because he knew it was the right thing to do. Captain America fought against the President of the United States, who was the leader of a neo-Nazi group, the Secret Society, and stopped him from taking ultimate control of the nation's government. Weird. We have a lot of stories about Captain America going up against the United States government that's been taken over by Nazis. You know, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that the writers of these stories were trying to tell us something. The point is, Captain America isn't as beholden to the stars and stripes as so many paint him as, like he's a character from Team America World Police or something. All that is a surface level understanding of the character that ignores years of context both on the page and on the screen that say different, and toting that interpretation as an explanation to who Captain America definitively is just to make another Captain America look bad is not only incorrect, it's just fucking weird. I mean, there's a reason that when we get a version of Captain America that represents America in the way some people think Steve Rogers did, he's the antagonist of the story, who quite literally taints the idea of Captain America in blood by using his shield, an object that's normally for protection and defense, to cut the head of an unarmed and surrendering combatant's head off.
Why are you making me do this? Why are you making me do this? I am Captain America.
The truth of all of this is that with what he said, Anthony Mackie, like Evans before him, has shown that he understands the character of Captain America 10,000 times more than most of the people who claim they do, so they can just shit on what Mackie says and hate on him being Captain America.
About a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity. Someone who is trustworthy and dependable.
Even now, here. I feel it. The stares, the judgment. And there's nothing I can do to change it. Yet I'm still here. No super serum, no blonde hair or blue eyes.
The only power I have is that I believe we can do better.
This conversation surrounding what he said is dumb. The reaction to it is dumb. And like most things in pop culture discourse nowadays, only exists so that really shitty and uninformed people can try to hide their even more shitty and uninformed bigotry.
Wasn't motivated really by anything in the story. It was just some random black guy. It didn't even really fit into the story. He goes, but anyway, you're a black guy, I'm a white guy, so now it's your turn. You're going to be DEI Captain America. Here you go.